we're going to be making some chicken stir fry with peanut sauce. So the peanut sauce is inspired by a friend of mine that was from Malaysia and took myself and my wife over to Malaysia, and we got to experience some of the food there. So when you said peanuts, I went straight for this. I guess we'll get started on the peanut sauce. So fairly simple recipe. We're gonna put some peanuts in the food processor, just some dry roasted unsalted. Fantastic. Okay. Yeah, this is gonna make a little noise with the peanuts. So kind of breaking these up a little bit, just so they're kind of fine. We're not making peanut butter, which we have plenty of that over here. But we're gonna chop those a little bit more, and I'm gonna heat that up in a little bit of vegetable oil. As long as I can figure out how to use this pan here. All right, so we've got that going. Start with our vegetable oil. About a 1/4 cup, and take peanuts and put those in the oil. And from there, we're going to take some other vegetables and put them back in the same food processor bowl and kind of puree that as well, so we have a nice smooth peanut sauce at the end. So we've got some shallots, about a cup of those, so probably get 3 of those would be good for us. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to try not to burn my peanuts in this vegetable. Just kind of let that saute a little bit. And this doesn't have to be super fine or anything. We're just breaking it up so we can put it in the food processor and puree it. But you want it to be similar size as the other vegetable, which is really just the garlic, and then we've got some pureed lemongrass and ginger. I really like to have these at my house because, you know, maybe I don't cook with ginger every day. We have it in the restaurant and use it all the time. But it stays good for a few weeks. I can, you know, put a little bit in a stir fry, especially in the summer. Just stir fried vegetables and some ginger and lemongrass is great. So we've got that, the shallots, and then we're going to do a little garlic. I think we're toasting pretty good on these peanuts. They're smelling really good. Alright. So that smells really nice and toasty. I wish y'all could smell those. Alright. And then we're going to do about a tablespoon of garlic. Same kind of thing, just breaking it up. That in the food processor bowl. Garlic shallot so far, and then we're going to add in the lemongrass and ginger puree, and some chili paste. Now the chili paste is some garlic chili paste, which I got at the store. It's called Sambal. There's kind of a little bit of a shortage on it right now, so if you find some of it, you want to take it, kind of hoard it, and keep it for a while. It seems like it's been hard to get. So we get the lemongrass and a little bit of brown sugar. just help all that break down in the food processor. All right. And we're going to add that to our toasted peanuts. Just going to cook this vegetables out so they're not raw. We're smelling all this ginger, yeah, smelling that ginger and that garlic and lemongrass. It smells really, really good. So we're gonna let that simmer. Turn this up a little bit and kind of cook some of the water out of the vegetables and break the peanuts down a little bit more. While we're doing that, we're gonna cut up our vegetables for stir fry. All right, so we've got a bunch of good things from the garden from our local farmers. We got some yellow squash, onions, bell peppers. I really love these purple peppers that they brought us. And just want to kind of keep things a little bit chunky, so when we saute them, that we get a little caramelization on the outside, but the vegetables don't get too soft. I'll do a couple cups of. No, you want it nice and crunchy to kind of go along with those crunchy peanuts. And we're going to serve this over some jasmine rice that we've cooked ahead of time. Check on this peanut sauce a little bit, because there's a lot of the oils in the peanuts, and you want it to burn on the bottom. Sometimes if I get yellow squash that are a lot bigger than this, I'll take out some of the kind of seeds there, just so they're not soft and mushy in your stir fry. So we just kind of take that and take off a little bit of that on the bigger squash. All right, we'll do a little bit of pepper. I like to take the ends off of those and just kind of come off the side and take some of that pith off it. It's steaming really good. So the first time I came over to check this, I kind of got some of that steam in my eyes, and those chilies will make you tear up a little bit. So I was trying to hold back the tears for a second. But this time I learned my lesson. You can stick back a little bit. All right. So we're going to stone peppers and squash, and we'll have a little onion. And that'll be kind of it for the veggies. I think I was mentioning this peanut curry or peanut sauce is inspired by a friend of mine, and she was gracious enough to share the recipe with me. And we've had it on the menu at the restaurant. It's just a really good memory for me, so I thought this would be a good thing to share. Same kind of thing, we're just cut it in half, make a little dice on that. Right. And we've got some garlic. Sometimes I like just to kind of shave it thin, and like the flavor it gets into the oil when you're sauteing. Check this peanut sauce one more time. So it's nice. It's good. It's kind of thick. Everything's kind of cooked out, just the vegetables. So I'm just gonna leave that to the side while we heat up our saute pan for putting this entree together. big boil. And we're going to do our kind of our shaved garlic. You can even take, for finely shaved or minced garlic, take your little microplane, run it on that, and it kind of comes out really nice and minced, I guess. And that's a way to chop off the fingers. So we've got some oil heating up here, just enough to kind of coat the bottom of our saute pan. I do have some other vegetables here that we're gonna cut up after we put it together and kind of just garnish everything with. I've got some chicken breast, took a pound of chicken breast, just kind of sliced it thin. And we'll start with that. All right. I'm gonna keep that bowl because I'm gonna cook this chicken for just a second. And then I'm gonna take it out and then do the vegetables and then we'll put it back in. Not hot enough. Not hot enough. I've got it turned up a little bit more. Ideally, it should have been a little bit hotter to start with. You can kind of caramelize the chicken a little bit. But it's coming up now. Yeah, we're getting there now. So I'm gonna let it go for just a second, and then we're gonna add a little salt and pepper to it, and I'll put it back in that bowl. All right, so we're starting to get a little bit cooked on the chicken. I'll go ahead and a little salt and pepper. Just a little sprinkle, because we're gonna add a little soy sauce to it also, so we don't want to get too heavy on the salt. All right, so that's not all the way cooked, so we're gonna go ahead and put it back in that bowl that we started with the chicken. To finish, and then we'll finish that chicken off at the end. So we'll just take our cutting board, and slide those vegetables in there. Oh, I definitely am. Oh, I've got to have a few things on the floor for the dog to clean up for me. All right, so thank you. There was a little bit of oil left from the chicken, but it's looking the pan's looking a little dry, so we're gonna add a little more vegetable oil. You can use any vegetables in this. We did the summer squash and peppers and onions and garlic. Some okra would be great in here. Eggplant and beans would be great in here. You just do the peanut sauce with the green beans. Garnishes. We've got some really pretty green onions, and take the tips of those off. And just kind of cut them on a little bit of a bias just to make them extra pretty. I like the white part of the green onion too. It's a little stronger, but I really like that onion too. That. We eat with our eyes first. So you want it to look appetizing and draw you into the plate. And also, it's another way of like adding another layer of flavors. So for this particular dish, we've got fresh cilantro, green onions, everything else is kind of cooked and a little heavier. We add these nice fresh raw garnish to it. And the one thing that we'll tell you, when you're first in culinary school is you want an edible garnish. You want something to bring in, something to tie the whole dish together. so our veggies have got a little bit of color on them. We're just going to pour all of that back into the pan. And get that chicken cooked in there. It'll cook up pretty quick if we cut it really thin. And the vegetables are pretty much done. We're going to start layering in our peanut sauce and a little bit of soy sauce. A bit more salt and veggies. We'll sauce it. Alright. So we're going to add in some peanut sauce. A couple of good scoops of that. Alright, yeah. So we're going to add that in. This chicken is smelling great. The ginger, the garlic, that lemongrass all kind of coming out, so it smells really good. I guess lemongrass here. Just going to put that in. A couple good scoops. A little bit of tamari, which is just a gluten-free soy sauce. See some of the juice from the vegetables is kind of helping us create a sauce with that kind of peanut sauce base, if you will. The recipe calls for a little bit of vegetable stock as well. Just really depends on how much moisture is coming out of your vegetables and how saucy you'd like it. I'm going to add just maybe a quarter or half a cup. The chicken should be about cooked.
I'm going to chop up these cilantro. I'll use the smaller stems of that. That's perfect. There's no need to get rid of all that. Just nice rough chop on that.
Get that. Cilantro and green onions. I'm going to put a little bit in with the chicken and vegetables, peanut sauce. Mix that in, and we're about ready to plate it up, I think. All right, so we've got just some steamed jasmine rice. Some of that. All right, so we've got my towel there. I'm going to bring this vegetables and chicken over here. You can really see that sauce is thickened up. It's really come together there nicely. So we're just going to take and ladle some of this chicken and sauce, veggies right over the top. And then when you're talking about these herbs, I'm just going to put a good bit of that over the top. Some green onions. And last but not least, some roasted salted peanuts we have here as well. I'm just going to rough chop them before we put them on the plate. Just a little bit on the chop, just so it'll get it on your fork a little easier. We'll just go sprinkle that around. There we go.
All right, so we're going to make a peanut butter trifle. And basically we're going to feature a peanut butter pudding to do that. So we're going to start off with making our custard. Then we'll basically just kind of show you how to just put that all up. There is a brownie component that's going with this, so it'll be a combination of chocolate and peanut butter going together. But we want to start of demo the brownie part of it. We'll just kind of focus on the actual custard, and then I'll show you how to build it up from there. But you should have the recipe for both in case you want to make the brownie as well. All right. Well, cool beans. So, I mean, this is pretty straightforward. anybody who's ever made like banana pudding before, or maybe even like a pastry cream, right? This is very much the same process. And so this is definitely what's considered a stirred custard because we have to stir it until it comes together. We're going to use a couple things for thickening. One is going to be the eggs, the yolks, as well as a little bit of cornstarch to help bring it together, and then the peanut butter kind of helps to just smooth it out at the end and give it some great flavor. So we're going to start with our 2 cups of milk. Turned on and turned up. Inside of this milk here, I'm going to pour in, if you notice from your recipe, there's 2 sugar amounts, right? So this is the first sugar amount, which I believe this is 1/3 of a cup on your recipe. All right, the recipe calls for a tablespoon of butter. And to be honest about it, butter is something that I've never really measured, but you know, it's close enough, right? A little extra butter never hurt nobody. So, that's right. So, let's get that in here. All right. So while that's going, we're going to let that eventually come up to a ball. Going to come to a full rolling ball, and in the meantime, we're going to get our eggs and sugar and cornstarch all mixed together here in our separate bowl. So here we got our extra 1/3 cup of sugar. We come in with our cornstarch. I like to kind of whisk those together at first, so that way the sugar kind of bounds with the cornstarch, so it's not the clump is bad. So that's definitely something to take into. If you have a sifter will work out just fine as well too. Okay, so far we have here, we have some, in the pot we have 2 cups of milk, we have about a tablespoon or so of butter, and we have 1/3 of a cup of sugar. Inside this bowl we have another 1/3 of a cup of sugar, and we have about, I want to say about 6 tablespoons of cornstarch, right? And now we're going to add into here 2 egg yolks and 1 whole egg. And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to bring this liquid up to a ball. We're going to then temper that mixture into our egg mixture. We're going to put everything back into the pot, and we're going to stir this until it comes to a ball and it thickens up. And then we're going to add in our peanut butter last to kind of smooth it out. That's going to give us our peanut butter pudding base to go inside of our trifle. And basically trifle is just a layered dessert dish, right? So usually with some type of cake or cream or mousse or pudding, and then top with like some type of cream on the top. So we're going to add in a chocolate brownie on the bottom, peanut butter mousse, and then we're going to add in some whipped cream up top. So here's my eggs and stuff already separated there. Get this a little stir. My mixture here has come to a ball, and so what we're going to do now is called a tempering process. So basically I'm going to add a little bit of this egg and this milk mixture into the eggs, a little bit at a time, so that way we don't actually scramble the eggs, right? So we kind of want to bring this egg mixture slowly up to the temperature of the milk. And that's going to keep us from getting any kind of clumps and scrambled eggs at the bottom of our pudding whenever we finish. All right, so now that we've kind of got that all in here, we're going to bring this back on. Pour this back in. All right. So I'm going to keep stirring. I'm going to keep this moving. I'm a little comfortable with this process, so I have my burner turned up pretty high here to kind of help this come together quickly. But what I would recommend until you get comfortable with it is to kind of go around between a medium and medium high heat. And just keep it moving so that way you can kind of see it come, because once it starts falling, if you're not keeping, if it's not moving quick enough and it comes together too fast, it can definitely scorch on the bottom, which we don't want to happen. So now I've gotten that thickness that I was looking for. I'm going to turn this on, right? Just so you can kind of see exactly that thickness of that pudding is what we're kind of going for there. All right. And so now I'm going to come in with our good old special secret ingredient here. While it's still nice and hot, because you want that heat to really kind of help to soften that peanut butter up. And then we'll just whisk that right on in. see what we're looking for here. Yeah, just to kind of help pull it on out here, just so you can kind of see that consistent that we're going for. We want to hold the body, right? We don't want it to be too thin. So that way as we build it inside of our glass, it kind of holds its shape. It won't mix in with the other ingredients. But I kind of want you to be able to see the consistency that we're going for. All right, so just nice and quick. All right. And then as that cool, it's going to stiffen just a little bit more, right? But it still won't be to the point of like, you know, it won't be firm, right? But you'll be able to kind of take a bite and it's going to hold that shape. Another little tip, if you know, you're not worried about cardiac arrest, so sometimes at the end of this, like add just a little small cube of butter in as well, and just whisk that on into it. Because like I said, butter makes everything better. But we're gonna save some hearts tonight. At this stage, what I would tell you, this is when we would kind of start to, like if you want to go through the brownie prep, I'll walk that through you. So what you would do with that recipe, it should call for 8 ounces of butter. And I want to say it's, there's some sugar as well, and I can't remember the actual measurement off the top of my head for that. But you're gonna, there's 5 ounces of dark chocolate or chocolate chips. So you would bring that butter up to a bowl, you would dump it on that chocolate, you would stir that together till you have a nice, just kind of buttery, chocolatey concoction. Set that to the side. We would then take our eggs and our sugar and our vanilla, you'll whisk them up. Then you would add that chocolate mixture into that sugar mixture and eggs, you would whisk that together, dump your dry ingredients, dump it inside your pan, put it in the oven, bake till it's done. So when that comes out, your pan will get some nice, fudgy, gooey brownies that look something just like this. I mean, these are already cut down to squares here for me, but you have that nice kind of, I do trim the edges off, right? We try and keep clean lines. Well, we also have to provide snacks for the people inside the kitchen, right, while you're baking these things. So that's a good way to keep them happy without losing the actual meat of your product. Give them the edges. Let's walk around the kitchen, and then we keep this for plate up purposes. All right. So in that case here, I'm going to come through here and just kind of cut these up into little small cubes. If you try and cut it too hot out the oven, it'll just be nice and fudgy all over your knife. It ain't going to replace it. All right. So, that being said here, so what I have here is just some of that same peanut butter we used earlier. We just melted some down, right? I just put a little bit in the microwave just to kind of nuke it up. And I think this is just kind of a little fun garnishing thing, right? But just kind of let that drip along in the sides. And it gives you a little bit more of that nice, lovely peanut butter flavor in every bite that you kind of scrape along, which I think is always nice. So then we're going to take some of these brownies here. I'm going to kind of put you some right down there towards the bottom. Then we're going to take our peanut butter, put in here, right on in. And as always, kind of like the stuff we talked about earlier, we tend to eat things with our eyes, right? So we're going to put a couple of finishing touches on here. I've got some sweetened vanilla whipped cream here that I've made. finish it on just these nice little milk chocolate Perels. And add just a nice little pop, little texture. They're kind of like little mini Nestle Crunchies. And there you are. You have your layered trifle. Y'all enjoy. Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys.
Bye.